All six of those mass shooters who have been school shooters in the 21st century, all six of them for whom we know the family background, every single one of them were dad-deprived boys, including in Texas. And the stories are so amazingly similar. The dads are not involved. The mothers become involved. They care for the children a great deal, but the boy feels he has no structure, no purpose, no discipline.
The thing I want to talk about for a minute is the difference between the way men and women discipline our kids. One thing I've really kind of found out from, being involved with the groups that are about bettering yourself and different support groups that I've been a part of over the years is men and women tend to demonize men. And they tend to demonize the way the men discipline or interact with their kids. And I'm not saying all men do or all women do, but there's a good amount that don't approve of the way that we interact with our kids. And I find it to be a problem in many ways, because you have got to, men provide a service to kids. One service that we provide to our kids is kind of the buck stops here. Stuff stops here. We're not gonna sit there and play the games. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna be open and kind and playful. We're gonna be playful. I think a lot of fathers play more than mothers do. We kind of allow more to. I know even with my kids, I don't restrict things as much as, I don't worry about things as much as, my wife does. But I also demand a certain level of respect and a certain level of this is where things stop. They stop here. We don't push things. You don't push things with me. You can, but it's not going to work out well for you. And that's the way I put things. And it's not that I'm scary or I'm bad. The kids aren't afraid of me. My kids aren't scared of me. But it's like, they understand that, dad is, when dad walks in, he's putting down his foot. That's it. We're not going to push things anymore. And that's one service that I believe men provide kids. And, and it's really kind of sad that so many people forget this. They forget the service that men provide kids. They forget the good that we do, even men. And I think a lot of times, it's been ingrained within us that we need to become more feminized in the way that we deal with kids, in the way that we do a lot of things, but especially the way we deal with kids. And, while I understand, I think it's true to a degree on certain things, we got to remember to be more open and more loving and more whatever. But, at the same time, we also got to recognize that there is some good from the old. And I think a lot of times men, kind of, I guess you could say unhealed men kind of look at their fathers in a way of, guys have been around men's groups and, that kind of stuff. They look at males like their fathers and their uncles and whatever as bad because they're not healed from whatever trauma they've experienced when they were a kid from their fathers. And, and the fact of the matter is because they are in so many ways unhealed from whatever's going on, they are afraid to speak up and become, and be, they don't want to come off as too harsh. So what they are is they're afraid to speak up and lay down the law and say, knock it off. they are afraid to, I've spoken to people before that are afraid to, it's, my daughter, she's 13, one guy's, like 3 a.m, she's on the phone in her room, and it's like, but I mean, it's like, no, sometimes to be a good father, we have to understand, or to be a good parent in general, we got to understand that is not healthy for the kid to do. The kid does not need to be on the phone at the age of 13 at 3 a.m. in their bedroom. Doesn't need to happen. Nothing good happens at that hour. Whether you're on the phone with somebody in your bedroom, or you're a few years older out the club or whatever, nothing good happens at 3 a.m. So, we have to protect our kids to a degree. It's 3 a.m, protect your kid, protect your daughter. She doesn't need to be on the phone at 3 a.m. But, I think a lot of guys look at that as like, well, I don't want to, come across as mean, because they're unhealed in their own relationships with their fathers. So they look at, any harshness or any, knock it off, give me the phone, as toxic masculinity. They look at that as, some form of not being fair to the kid, as being abusive, and it's not. We got to understand, sometimes what we have to do is lay down the law, lay down structure for the kids. I'm not saying that we have to overly control anything. You don't want to do that kind of stuff, but you also got to understand that you have to step into situations and, say no. And, it's not healthy for a kid to be on the phone or online or whatever, at the age of 13 at 2 or 3 a.m. It's not a good environment to be there, to allow that to go on. And, we don't have to go in and yell and scream and get all nasty or whatever. I'm sorry if my voice sounds, I get a little bit of a cold and allergy stuff going on. So, but anyways, yeah, we can't, forget that one of our gifts is, saying, hey, look, stop. It's providing a certain level of structure. Now understanding that 13-year-old child is a child. They're not, it's like hurting their feelings. Would you rather hurt somebody's feelings or save them from a situation that could, really kind of put them in a bad depression, or a situation to where, it's like, no, you understand. You understand when they're a couple of years older, it's like, do I want to save my child is out and they're 15, 16, they're out, they're hanging out with the friend and they're drinking and they're getting into trouble, and is it best to step in or allow that to be? Because you don't want to be seen as, as abusive or as whatever, or as overly harsh on your kid. Well, it's like, no, you're not being overly harsh if you're saying, stop, don't do this. You're not old enough to understand this. Get out, well, I'm going to put a stop to this. I'm going to lay down the law. I'm going to put a little structure in place. I'm going to, we got to understand this. We got to understand that a lot of what we provide is structure and order, and there's a certain amount of safety that's in that place that we provide, or should be providing. And understanding that a lot of times when we do things or we say things, it's because we are trying to be a good parent. We are trying to help out our child. And A lot of times, if we aren't willing to say something, if we aren't willing to step into a place, then we're not doing our job as a parent. So that's one thing I really kind of wanted to get out there, that I really feel is something we need to talk about.
You son of a.